Another day of Arsenal news as pre-season hits its third week. The Gunners have already completed the signing of Lucas Torreira, the former Sampdoria midfielder who impressed with his performances at the World Cup in Russia, and 19-year-old France under-20s player Matteo Guendouzi from Lorient. The midfield duo joined Bernd Leno, Sokratis, Papastathopoulos and Stephan Lichtsteiner as the summer arrivals. Unai Emery has also been keeping busy away from the transfer window too, with the squad being put through their paces by the Spaniard. We'll keep on top of all the latest transfer news right here throughout the day, while also keeping you up to date with any other breaking news from North London. We want you to get involved too. Tell us your thoughts on what's happening at Arsenal by tweeting us at @Arsenal_FL. Keep up to date with the latest news, features and exclusives from Football London via the free Football London app for iPhone and Android. Available to download from the App Store and Google Play. 1448 Arsene Wenger has opened up on those constant links to Paris Saint-Germain, as well as being offered the chance to manage the France national team. Read Arsene Wenger at the Parc des Princes. Image, Stuart McFarlane, Arsenal FC via Getty Images. 1410 Arsenal have missed out on the signing of Venezuelan wonder kid Christian Macoun. Gianluca Di Marzio claims Juventus have won the race ahead of the Gunners and Real Madrid. The 18-year-old shone at the U20 World Cup and has impressed as a defensive midfielder for Zamora in Venezuela. Image, Stuart McFarlane, Arsenal FC via Getty Images. 12:51 If Unai Emery is to sign any more players, the general consensus is that he will have to sell to raise funds, with the squad still appearing short of an attacker who would provide the team with some genuine width. And there are some players within the dressing room at the Emirates whose futures remain far from clear. We take a look at some of the players who could be moved on to generate cash, should Arsenal decide to do so. Read here. Image, 1 Mabromata, AFP, Getty Images. 12:31 Arsenal want Kingsley Coman from Bayern Munich and could pay around €50 million to sign the French starlet. According to beIN Sports, Coman has enjoyed a fine career so far, featuring for PSG, Juventus and now Bayern. Unai Emery is thought to be a fan and could make a move for the 22-year-old. Photo by A. Pretty, Getty Images for FC Bayern. 12:19 Unai Emery is reportedly ready to trim his Arsenal squad, with the futures of Danny Welbeck and David Ospina in doubt. According to The Telegraph, England striker Welbeck is at risk of being sold, with the Gunners well stocked in attack. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Alexander Lacazette, Henrik Mkhitaryan, Mesut Ozil and Alex Iwobi are all ahead of the forward in the pecking order, and with only 1 year remaining on his contract, he faces an uncertain future at the Emirates. Elsewhere, Colombian international Ospina could be sold following the arrival of Bernd Leno from Bayer Leverkusen. Image, Mike Hewitt, FIFA via Getty Images. 11:51 A potentially harming and embarrassing situation involving Arsenal has been brought to light. The Gunners appear to have been caught up in a suspected fraud scam involving one of its Chinese partners, electric car maker BYD. The problem relates to the company now claiming that the person who signed the sponsorship deal with Arsenal didn't have any authorization to do so, thus placing the authenticity of this agreement in serious doubt. Full story 8:58 Another change at Arsenal could be imminent. This summer has already seen a new head coach installed, and now reports in Italy claim that chief executive Ivan Gazidis is on his way to AC Milan. A rough translation is that Gazidis is close to reaching an agreement to become the Serie A Giants CEO. 7:53 Thierry Henry's decision to turn away from punditry to focus on his coaching was not a surprise to everyone. In fact, his decision fits with the comments made by his former manager back when the Frenchman first began to dabble in both fields. According to Wenger, that wasn't possible, and once again the former Arsenal boss has been proven right. See the best of their reaction here. Arsene Wenger and Thierry Henry. Image, David Price, Arsenal FC via Getty Images. 7:14 Key event. The Frenchman spoke to RTL's What If program about his regrets, values and how he sees the world, on top of his thoughts on football and the greatest players he worked with over the years. At 42 minutes, it is a long on, but we have the full translated transcript of the show. Read all 3,400 plus words from Wenger here. Arsene Wenger during his final game as manager of Arsenal. Image, Catherine Iville, Getty Images. 17:52 It's been a rather busy summer at the Emirates, with Unai Emery bringing in a number of new additions ahead of the 2018-19 season. With Unai Emery claiming that he will only add to his squad if a big opportunity arises, Arsenal fans are praying that the club will still be looking to secure the signature of Aaron Ramsey. No agreement between the club and the Welsh midfielder has yet been reached, but that hasn't stopped people on Twitter making claims about any possible deal. One such claim led Ramsey's agency Avid Sports. You can read the full story here. Aaron Ramsey during the pre-season friendly against Boreham Wood. Photo by Stuart McFarlane, Arsenal FC via Getty Images. 15:48 Arsenal's international stars had a very mixed World Cup, with some players starring for their nations and others rather absent from the tournament. Granit Xhaka was one of the clear bright spots for Arsenal. The Swiss midfielder shone when his country needed him in key games, and new signing Lucas Torreira announced himself on the world stage with assured showings for Uruguay. We've taken a look over everyone's performances and judged whether they were a hit or a miss at this World Cup. You can read our judgments here. Granit Xhaka celebrates. Image, Attila Kisbendek, AFP, Getty Images. 1500 Sevilla director of football Joaquin Caparros has stated that the La Liga side will not let Stephan depart for less than his €40 million release clause. The World Cup winning midfielder has been linked with the move back to the Premier League recently, with Arsenal among the most heavily linked sides. Barcelona have also been linked in recent days, but any club who wants him would have to hit Sevilla's release clause to secure the signing. You can read the full story here. Stephan celebrates his side's World Cup triumph. Image, David Ramos, FIFA via Getty Images. 13:48 Yesterday it was revealed by Nauticas de Gipuzkoa that Real Sociedad had made Nacho Monreal their #1 target for this summer. But the club's president, Joaquin Aperabey, has been kicked to distance them from the possibility of any possible move being confirmed soon. According to Marca, when asked about the interest in Monreal, he said, "We do not have open conversations with any club. We cannot be optimistic with him or with any player." Nacho Monreal. Image, Lars Barron, Getty Images. 13:22 Arsenal are still yet to launch their third kit for the coming season, with both the home and away already announced. Some fans were expecting it to be unveiled around the same time it was last year. It looks likely that fans will have to wait until Arsenal are on tour in Singapore to see the new offering though. Well, Puma's latest home kit didn't exactly go down well with supporters. The club's new away kit, which was launched in Leicester Square at the start of last month, was hailed by many fans. The third kit is expected to be very different to any worn before, with leaked images suggesting it might be turquoise. You can read the full story here. Parlour at the launch of the Arsenal away kit. Photo by Stuart McFarlane, Arsenal FC via Getty Images. 12:32 Ousmane Dembélé is one of many wingers being linked with the move to Arsenal this summer. The France international is already familiar with a couple of players in the Gunners squad, having played with Sokratis, Papastathopoulos and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang at Borussia Dortmund. In response to the Greek defender's Instagram post after making his unofficial Arsenal debut in the 8-0 pre-season win over Boreham Wood on Saturday, Dembele's comment has sparked speculation. Full story. 11:26 Arsenal signed him for £7 million from Lorient last week, but many fans would be forgiven for not knowing a lot about Matteo Guendouzi. The 19-year-old has represented France at U18, U19 and U20 level, and it was expected by many that he would be leaving the League Two outfit this summer. Both Man City and Spurs were apparently interested in Guendouzi over the past season. You can read more about him here. Matteo Guendouzi. Image, David Price, Arsenal FC via Getty Images. 10:50 Unai Emery has continued to add to his backroom staff, with the addition of Tim Parham to the team. Parham is currently head of rehabilitation with Aussie rules side Port Adelaide and is expected to join up with Arsenal in the coming month. He worked alongside Arsenal's head of high performance Darren Burgess while at Port Adelaide. You can read full story on the appointment here. Arsenal's head of high performance Darren Burgess 9:25 Lucas Perez wants to remain at the Emirates and convince new head coach Unai Emery that he is good enough to play for the club. With question marks surrounding his long-term future in the capital, reports from Spain claim that the forward will bide his time with the Gunners despite talk of a summer move to Lazio. Read here. Henrik Mkhitaryan celebrates scoring a goal with Lucas Perez at Boreham Wood. Image, David Price, Arsenal FC via Getty Images. 8:40 Arsenal could be set to add to their midfield options once again despite the arrivals of Lucas Torreira and Matteo Guendouzi last week. Amid talk of a move for Barcelona's Andre Gomes, reports in Italy now claim that the club are interested in a deal for Juventus' Rodrigo Bentancur, an international teammate of Torreira. The 21-year-old only arrived in Turin from Boca Juniors last summer and he went on to make 27 appearances for the Serie A champions across all competitions last season, including 5 in the Champions League. However, he hasn't quite been able to hold down a regular place in the team and faces more competition following the arrival of Emre Can from Liverpool. Rodrigo Bentancur. Image, Richard Heathcote, Getty Images. 2200 Nacho Monreal is reportedly Real Sociedad's #1 target this summer. The Basques want him to be the only defensive addition they make during the window according to Noticias de Gipuzkoa. They claim that adding the left back to the squad is key for their rebuild for next season due to a lack of options on the left-hand side. Nacho Monreal. Image, Sean Botterill, Getty Images. 2054 Arsenal defender Laurent Koscielny has continued his return from injury, with a trip to Russia to celebrate France's World Cup triumph. The defender was in the changing room after the game along with the French team as well as the President of France. You can read the full story here. Koscielny leads Arsenal out against Atletico. Image, David Price, Arsenal FC via Getty Images. 1942 Arsene Wenger has been proven right once again thanks to the performance of Kylian Mbappé at the World Cup final earlier today. Mbappé became only the second teenager ever to score in a World Cup final, with Pelé the first to do so in 1958. Wenger had wanted to sign the Frenchman when he made the move to PSG and claimed that he could be the next Pelé when quizzed on why he had wanted to sign him. You can read the full story here. A 17-year-old Pelé in 1958 and Kylian Mbappé in 2018. Image, Staff, Frank Fife, AFP, Getty Images. 1925 Arsenal have discovered how much it will cost to sign Argentina international Christian Pavón this summer. The winger has been linked with the move away from Boca Juniors this summer and the Gunners are reportedly interested in signing him. They were linked with him as far back as January, but Barcelona are also now being linked with a move. However, Boca are not likely to be a soft touch, with reports claiming they will try to keep hold of Pavón at all costs. You can read the full story here. Christian Pavón. Image, Jamie Squire, FIFA via Getty Images. 1656 Callum Chambers has hinted that his future lies in a position that Arsene Wenger once predicted he would end up playing. Chambers played the second half of the pre-season friendly against Boreham Wood in a role that he hasn't been seen very often in for Arsenal, in midfield. But he claimed that Emery had spoken to him about playing there before the game. You can read the full story here. Arsenal head coach Unai Emery talks to Callum Chambers. Image, Stuart McFarlane, Arsenal FC via Getty Images. 1612 After opening their pre-season with an easy win over Boreham Wood, Arsenal will be unlikely to have another simple game this summer. Unai Emery's side will play in a pre-season tournament called the International Champions Cup with games in Singapore and Dublin. Arsenal won't play a single game at the Emirates until the new season actually gets underway in a few weeks' time. You can see their schedule here. Arsenal head coach Unai Emery. Image, David Price. Arsenal FC via Getty Images. 1446 Arsenal kicked off their pre-season campaign by thrashing Boreham Wood 8-0, but it's what happened after the first half which will be of interest to supporters. Football London understands that the players featured in the first half left the pitch and got straight on the coach-to-go training ground, which explains why they weren't on the bench for the second period, for a light session. So much for thinking a 5-0 first-half lead would have resulted in the rest of the day off. Read more. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang celebrates. Image, Stuart McFarlane. Arsenal FC via Getty Images.